in 1942 in June, we went on the bombing mission. I was flying bombers, Wellingtons, over Ruhr, or otherwise so-called Happy Valley. And the trip was, we performed everything what was necessary, dropped the bombs on the target, and on the way back, while we were flying over the Zuiderzee, which is the part of Holland, my rear gunner reported an aircraft approaching from the rear. I told him that if this object comes too close, then we'll have to open the fire on him. And my idea was that perhaps it was a German fighter aircraft equipped with the searchlight in the nose. So when this thing came close, I wouldn't take any chance on it, and I told my rear gunner to give him a blast. So then he opened the fire on him, maybe 200 yards. And at that distance, this object was almost the size of the moon, which was also visible at the same time, maybe possibly a bit bigger. We used the tracers in the machine guns. There were 4 machine guns in the rear turret. And while this rear gunner was shooting, we could follow exactly the trajectory of the shells which were entering that particular target. Now, the peculiar thing about it was that those were just going in, and that was the end of it. They wouldn't fall down. And so-called tracers. Those tracers would just enter, and that was it. Now, that lasted for possibly, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes. And after that time, this shining object suddenly changed the position, and at a terrific speed moved over to our port side, almost at the same distance, about 200 yards from the wing. And then it stayed there. Of course, then both rear gunner and the front gunner opened the fire on my order, and I could see the tracers entering the target again from under 2 angles, at which I was sure that this was pretty close to 200 yards then, because you could see the angle of crossing the tracers. After a while, it moved up, took off at fantastic speed at least 45 degrees angle, and they just disappeared between the stars.
All right, Shalom. This is Yahawah by Yahawah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahawah, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Harakah Kodash, Ma'amaf. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Akwathim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the 4 corners of the earth. It's going to be a brief lesson dealing with World War II and the what was called Foo Fighters. All right, I've done a few lessons on this before, but it's on my spirit to go into it again. All right, the first topic I saw that caught my attention today. All right, so you have in World War II, you have what they call Foo Fighters. Let me get a little background. All right, so let's read about it. It says here, Foo Fighters. And you heard this guy, this pilot, he said he ordered his gunmen in the front and in the rear. And that's spoken of in Revelation chapter 9. World War I going into World War II, where they were using those type of fighter jets, you know. We still had the gunmen in the rear, then into the front as well. Or in the front, then into the rear, rear gunmen as well, all right? And that's the progression of the weaponry and blessing of Esau with their weapon, which is the sword or the gun, or to destroy. And they progressed all the way up into making those ICBM missiles. All right, and all kind of technology today, and lasers. But this pilot said his gunmen were shooting at the chariots of the Lord, Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahushua. And the bullets were the projectiles were going into the chariot, into the light, and that's it. They just would absorb it. So Esau and their military are not going to be able to deal with the chariots of the Lord. And that goes into 2nd Ezra chapter, I think it was that 13. But it says here, the term Foo Fighter, that's what they called them. The term Foo Fighter was used by Allied aircraft pilots during World War II to describe various UFOs of mysterious aerial phenomena. That's what they call them today. Aerial phenomena. Seen in the skies over both the European and Pacific theaters of operations. So that was the chariots intervening. The Lord sends his angels to intervene. All right, because all the prophecies had to come to pass. World War I, and then the end of World War II, and that's when all these chariots started popping up, around 1944. All right, and then you have now in these times, in the 1960s and into the 70s, you have the chariots popping up again. All right, where Esau started putting these satellites up into space. Civil rights movements, right? The beast being established, NATO and the European Union, the Treaty of Rome. So, and Esau moving towards their new world order. So this is all the progression in the intervention of Yahawah by Hashem Yahushai, sending his angel to intervene, as he's going to do also in these last days. This is Revelations 7:1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, holding back the destruction, and also intervening and causing this, the destruction to proceed, meaning the prophecies to come to pass. Manipulating the minds of the kings. See, this is what Yahawah by Hashem Yahushai sends his angels to do, to intervene, man, and also to deliver. So now, that it says what? That the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. All right, and that represents these nations and also on the earth, because the earth gonna be destroyed. A lot of portions of the earth is gonna be destroyed. And you gotta be careful saying that, because a lot of these geniuses out there think their whole earth is gonna be destroyed. But what I mean. Major parts of the earth is going to be uninhabitable, all right, because of the war. So, and there's a scripture that says, I'm gonna get that too, Yahawah Ratazah and Habakkuk, where it says, is the Lord mad at the trees or the sea? Nah, man, he's mad at the people, all right. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. All right, so these angels of the Lord, the archangels who command the other angels, the army of the Lord, the host of heaven. All right, Uriel, Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael. They're over all the other angels. All right, saying, "Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our power in their foreheads." So once the elect are being sealed now, and the Lord is sending the angels to do that as well. All right. Ezekiel 9:4, and Yahawah said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst of her. So the Lord sends his angels to wake up his elect. All right. And the elect begin to prophesy, and the spirit continues. All right. So that mark is the tawah, meaning of exemption. It goes hand in hand with Revelation 7, to be exempt from the judgment. All right, so the angels have a major part in the prophecies, what they call foo fighters. They intervene. All right, Isaiah 31:5, as birds flying, so will Yahawah defend Jerusalem. And today, Jerusalem, the city of peace, or the citizens of peace with the Most High, is going to be the elect. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. It's going to be the new Passover, the second Passover. It's going to be the Lord delivering his elect, passing over them and not destroying them, but passing over, he's going to deliver them as well and preserve them for the kingdom. So the Lord is going to do that by sending his angels as birds flying, man. All right, this is Habakkuk. All right, prophet who was prophesying around the time of King Josiah. King Josiah ruled from 641 to about 609 BC. And he was the one that held the last Passover, king of Judah, a righteous king, in 622 BC. All right, that was the last Passover in the springtime. But Hezekiah was a prophet around during those times. He prophesied from approximately 640 to the death of King Josiah, 609. All right, when King Jehoiakim took office. Now, so this is what he was prophesying. And he was questioning the Most High, which was fair to do so it can be written. And he was questioning the Lord. He will wait to be rebuked or reproved or argued against, because he had a question asking the Lord, was he going to, the judgment that he was going to bring against us through the Babylonians, which were really Assyrians, through Nebuchadnezzar, all right, which today America represents the daughter of Babylon, which the founders of America are the Edomites, just like the founders of Babylon were Assyrians, all right, in comparison. So Habakkuk can be matched up with America today and its founders, which were Edomites, all right. So now, he was prophesying, he was questioning the Lord, was he going to destroy those nations as well? And the Lord told him, yes. It's going to come a time where the elect are going to live by faith, and the Lord's going to bring judgment on the nation that's ruling at that time. And today, that nation is Esau. All right? And America is that place of confusion, Babylon. Habakkuk 3:2. And this was a song written by Habakkuk to his chief musicians. See how people would sing the prayers a lot of times. Oh, Yahawah, I have heard thy speech. And we're singing the song just without melody. We're all in harmony in the spirit of truth. Oh, Yahawah, I have heard thy speech. and was afraid, O Yahawah, revive thy work in the midst of the years. So in the midst of what? The Lord said Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning that follows. So in the midst of Esau's rulership, the Lord is going to revive his elect. All right, it means to refresh or renew, New Jerusalem. In the midst of the years, make known in wrath, but in wrath, remember mercy, man. And we're praying that the Lord, and He's going to do that by having mercy on. He said, "The slain of the Lord shall be many," but also He says in the scriptures, in the Apocrypha, the children of Israel are the sand of the sea, but only a remnant shall be saved. That's what He's going to show mercy to. All right, and by in the midst of the years, make known means what? To intervene. All right. Other than that, everything goes according to nature, which the Lord set up. Esau just destroying and building up to their own perdition. All right. It says Yahawah came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Parah, Selah. His glory covered the heavens, so Yahawah sent Yahawashi and the holy angels. And the earth was full of His praise, man. And the earth represents the people upon earth which were with Moses, that were praising the Lord when He came down upon the mountain. All right, this is an example, Exodus 19, of when the Lord delivered us, but He also destroyed Pharaoh's army. All right, and Pharaoh's household. Exodus 19 and 9. And Yahawah said unto Moses, Lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud. All right, really He sent Yahawashi, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. So that's who was there. It was Yahawashi, representing Yahawah. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall be surely put to death, man. So it's like trying to see a celebrity, and you got bodyguards and barriers, but the Lord said, yo, don't touch the mountain. That's the barrier. All right. And even in the kingdom, it's going to be like that. That mountain, that barrier, if they touch it, it's going to be the children of Israel. It's going to be the mountain, the separation between Yahawashi and man. You know, so now, check this out. Let me get to the point. And verse 16, and it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled, man. So when Yahawashi shows up with His angels, everybody going to tremble at the power. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet God, man, to meet the Lord, yo. And they stood at the neither part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, and it's still burnt to this day, the tip of it, over there in Arabia, because Yahawah descended upon it in fire. See, that's the point, fire. You know, and that's what they called it. The Foo Fighters, they called them balls of fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace. It was burning up the elements on the mountain. And the whole mount was quaked greatly. So the Lord was putting His stamp on it, man, showing proof that He was here. And He backed up Moses forever. All right. And the next stamp is going to be America. They're going to burn this one up. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, that's how loud it's going to be, and waxed louder and louder, means getting closer, Moses spake, and the Lord answered him by a voice, man. Talk to him. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount. And the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount. And Moses went up. So that was Yahawah came down and talked to him face to face. All right. This is Exodus 33:11. And the Lord spake unto Moses face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend. All right. So that's how the Lord spoke to Moses, talked to him face to face. So I'm going to read this right here. This is Exodus 33 and 8. And it came to pass when Moses went out unto the tabernacle that all the people rose up and stood every man at his tent door and looked after Moses until he was gone into the tabernacle. And it came to pass as Moses entered into the tabernacle, the cloudy pillar descended. And the pillar represents, like they call today, a cigar shape. But if you really look at it, it's a disc. You know? Stand at the tabernacle door. And all the people rose up and worshipped, every man at his tent door. So it was like over top of his house. And the Lord spake unto Moses face to face, man, as a man speaketh unto his friend. This is Exodus 24 and 10, 9. Then went up Moses and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the power of Israel. They saw Yahawah. They were looking right at him. In his glorified, in his spiritual form. And there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of a sapphire stone, sort of like Iceman. It came out of the chariot and was flying on top of something. As it were, the body of heaven in its clearness, man. It looked like crystal clear. You know, that's our power, that's our God, our King, Yahawah, the Son of Yahawah. This is Psalm 68 and 17. The chariots of Yahawah. Actually, I'm going to read this one. The chariots of Yahawah by Hashem Yahawah are 20,000, even thousands of angels. So thousands of angels. The Lord is among them. See, Yahawah was there. As in Sinai in the holy place. All right. So that was Yahawah that met up with Moses. Wisdom of Solomon 18 and 15. Thine almighty word leaped down from heaven. So the word is Yahawah, spoken of the book of John. All right. Thy almighty word leaped down from heaven, Yahawah, out of the royal throne. All right. He was on the right hand of the Father. As a fierce man of war into the midst of a land of destruction. And that land of destruction was Egypt. All right. And he brought thine unfeigned commandment as a sharp sword. He gave the commandment to Moses. And standing up, filled all things with death. And it touched heaven, but it stood upon the earth. All right, so they destroyed the Egyptians. Okay, so yeah, man. That's who's in those chariots. So right here, I'm going to finish this. Habakkuk 3 and 8. Was Yahawah displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? All right, so salvation. So the Lord smote the sea and parted the sea for Moses and the Israelites. But his wrath was not against it, he was delivering us. And when he brought the plagues upon the earth on the Egyptians, he wasn't smiting the earth, he was smiting the inhabitants of the earth. All right, bringing famine to the land and destruction. The same way he's going to destroy the daughter of Babylon, America today, in these times. He's not mad at the earth or Ratazah, he's mad at the inhabitants of it and what they've built upon it. And the earth is the Lord's, he can do what he wants with it, man. So in World War II, that was the angels intervening and bringing to pass the final prophecies for the deliverance of Israel. This is Amos 9 and 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord, Yahawah, are upon the sinful kingdom. So they're watching. They're the watchers. I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. So the kingdom ultimately is Esau's rulership, but really right here is talking about America, Babylon. All right? Mystery Babylon. Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Yahawah. So it's talking about the elect. That's the sift. And that goes with Revelation 7 to where the Lord is using his angels to intervene and ultimately revive the elect and to destroy the goats. Puts the sheep to the right and the goats to the left. All right, so we get into the definition of these food fighters that they kept seeing. And in one of the pictures, you can see what looks like a man with a beard, dark image with a white and woolly beard and white hair. In the background, the World War II pictures. There's a big face in the sky, man, and two chariots, what they call Foo Fighters, right there as well. It says the term Foo Fighter was used by Allied aircraft pilots during World War II to describe various UFOs and mysterious aerial phenomena seen in the skies over both the European and Pacific theaters of operation. So in those UFOs, they're really chariots of the Lord, and there's angels in them. And Yahawah Shai is going to be among them, all right? They're going to be following Yahawah Shai on white horses. So they really got this term Foo Fighter from a movie, and it has no meaning to it. All right. Though Foo Fighter initially described the type of UFO reported and named by the U.S. 415th Night Fighter Squadron, the term was also commonly used to mean any UFO sighting from that period. So today they would probably say flying saucer or UAPs, you know. They always try to give it a government term. So at that time they were calling them Foo Fighters. Around the 60s they started calling them flying saucers. All right. Formerly reported from November 1944, around the time of the end of World War II. All right, when they bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and also they had the Bretton Woods Agreement around 1944. Onwards, Foo Fighters were presumed by witnesses to be secret weapons employed by the enemy, and that's false. Just like today, when they see the chariots of the Lord, they try to say it's Russia or China. All right. So let's get into some stories. That's what I like to read of some people that have experienced seeing some pilots that have seen the chariots. All right, in history. So let's read it. It says here, it says, although Royal Air Force personnel had reported seeing lights following their aircraft from as early as March 1942, with similar sightings involving RAF bomber crews over the Balkans starting in April 1944. So even in Europe, they were seeing them. And they had different names for them. All right. I think they call them kraut fireballs. Kraut, Kraut. Somebody want to check that out. Kraut lights or something like that over there in Europe. That's what they call them. In America, they call them Foo Fighters. It says, but really, the angels were controlling them, controlling the people. You know, appointing their bounds that they cannot pass. All right. It says now, American sightings were first recorded by crews from the 422nd Night Fighter Squadron at nighttime, stationed in occupied Belgium during the first week of October 1944. So every move they make, the angels are watching them, man. At the time, these were erroneously believed to be Messerschmitt Me 163 rocket-powered interceptors. So they thought there was some type of machines, you know, from the enemy, from America's enemies, which did not operate at night. However, the bulk of the sightings started occurring in the last week of November 1944. See that? That was a heavy time, man. The end of World War II. The Bretton Woods Agreement, the establishment of these European powers. When pilots flying over Western Europe by night reported, and it was also the beginning of the nuclear age. All right, they reported by night seeing fast-moving, round, glowing objects following their aircraft. That's what we would see, because we're third-dimensional beings, but we see in 2 dimensions. You're going to see one side of the craft, or you might just see a ball of light, but really it's an object sitting right there looking at you. You know? So, and they're from the 4th dimension. The objects were variously described as fiery. What? Fiery. Didn't I just read that? Fire. And glowing red, white, or orange. Those are the colors of them. Matter of fact, let me get one real quick. This is Zechariah 1:8. And I saw by night, see, nighttime, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse and the chariots, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom. And behind him were their red horses, speckled and white, man. All right, so that's them chariots, different colors. Zechariah 1:20, and Yahawah showed me 4 carpenters, those are angels, archangels. Then said I, what come these to do? And he spake, saying, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, and those horns are the kingdoms of Assyria, which will go into Babylon, the Medo-Persian Empire, the Greek Empire, and the Roman Empire, even up to America today. And each time the Lord sends his angels to deliver us or put us in captivity. All right, just like the Lord sent angels to destroy Israelites when he was punishing David, King David, for a moment. You know, he had to stop the angel. You know, the Lord had to stop him, pull him back, because he was going in. So the Lord sends his angels to intervene. You know, but Esau called them Foo Fighters, disrespecting them, E.T. and all this madness. It says to cast out the horns of the Gentiles. So it says what? So that no man. These are the horns which have scattered Judah. They scattered us in slavery, so that no man did lift up his head. So they kept us in captivity, even with their schools and indoctrinations. You know, and beat us down during the civil rights movement, and didn't tell us the truth. But these are come to fray them. See, the Lord sends the angels to scatter or put fear into these nations, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, cast out the kingdoms. See that? Which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it. And the Lord gonna send the angel Michael under Yahawah to go to war with their air force and their satellites and their lasers, you know, all the world's armies. It says here, it said it looked like fiery, glowing red, white, or orange. Some pilots described them as resembling tree lights, right? Like bright starlights, man. And reported that they seemed to toy with the aircraft. Hey, they know what they did with Antiochus Epiphanes in 169 BC, or his second travel to Egypt. He stopped and tormented the land of Israel. Or 168 BC, and he saw, what did he see? Let's see. This is 2 Maccabees 5:1. About the same time, Antiochus prepared his second voyage to Egypt. That was 168 BC. And then it happened that through all the city, while he was making his move, just like when Esau comes rushing in the flood in these times, the Lord gonna send his holy angels to protect his elect, according to Psalms 81, and to gather them also. And then it happened that through all the city for the space about 40 days, man, there were seen horsemen running in the air. All right, that means angels controlling these chariots that had power, and they were moving in the air in formation and all around each other. Some pilots say they seemed like they were skipping on water, but it's in the air. It says what? In cloth of gold and armed with lances, like a band of soldiers, man. So these chariots were glowing and shining and looked metallic, and the angels had armor on. And the troops of horsemen in array, man, in formation, like they were mocking Antiochus, encountering and running one against another, with shaking of shields and multitude of pikes and drawing of swords, shooting off their lasers, all kind of stuff, man, and casting of darts and glittering of gold ornaments and harness of all sorts. Wherefore every man prayed that the apparition might turn to good. So they thought they were seeing ghosts, but it's really spirit realm, something from the fourth dimension. That's right, man, because there was angels and what they call stars of heaven. And it was the chariots of the Lord. And you see that pilot in the beginning, he said it looked like he thought it was going to be a German plane with a giant spotlight on it, with a bright light. All right? And so it was really super bright and glowing. Matthew 2:7. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, which there were multiple wise men, not three, they were Israelites, he inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. So that star was the chariot, man. All right. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child. Why? Because Herod wanted to kill our king. That was his focus. He wasn't attached to any prophecies. They were worrying about it in a governmental sense, meaning if we have a king, then we would have sovereignty. And they didn't want us to have that. Ever since the Hasmonean dynasty, ever since the destruction of Pompeii in 65 BC, all right, they didn't want us to have a king. So, they only allow us to be called priests. And when they said a king is born, Herod was like, oh, hell no. He wanted to be the king. It says here, when they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, man, till it came and stood over where the young child was. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. Just like the elect, the hopeful elect, we're going to rejoice with exceeding great joy to see his stars, the chariots. All right, because now you had shepherds out there in the field, and some say a lot of those were the wise men or whatever, but that's not important. The thought is this: that star had angels in them, man, and the angels came out of the chariots to speak to these men. Check this out, Luke 2:8, and there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field. All right, and that's how you know it was warm temperatures. Well, not warm, but springtime. Keeping watch over their flock at night by night, man. Because if not, they would have had them inside because of the cold. You know. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them. So it was angels. And the glory of the Lord shone round about them. And they were so afraid. So, you know, so that chariot had angels inside the chariot that were at the Lord's birth, man. And they were praising the Lord. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings and great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Yahawah. So, you know. And that's how you know it wasn't just one angel. Check this out, verse 14. Glory to Yahawah in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill towards men. And that's talking about Yahawah sending goodwill towards the elect of Israel through Yahawah at his birth. And it came to pass, as the angels were gone away from them into heaven, the shepherds said one to another, Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass, which Yahawah have made known unto us. All right, so those were angels inside of what they call stars. All right, the star of heaven, star of David, or the stars of heaven, Salakia. All right, so it calls the star of Bethlehem. So it says what? It says pilots and air crew reported that the objects flew together in formation with their aircraft and behaved. See, they say like they ran one against another, as Antiochus Epiphanes was seeing. And they behaved as if they were under intelligent control, but never displayed hostile behavior, right? They're just watching and they controlling things. But soon, man, the Lord said, what? This is the curse that goeth across the face of the earth. It's going to destroy the wicked man with the timbers thereof. I mean, it's going to be what? Destroyed, zapped, like War of the Worlds, burned up. All right. However, they could not be outmaneuvered or shot down. See that? These chariots cannot be outmaneuvered or shot down. The phenomenon was so widespread that the lights earned a name in the European theater of operations. They were often called kraut fireballs. They fire, man. But for the most part called Foo Fighters. The military took the sightings seriously and suspecting that the mysterious sightings might be secret German weapons. But further investigation revealed that the German and Japanese pilots had reported similar sightings. See that? See, the Lord gonna bring them chariots against the whole world. Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And this was back in 722 BC. All right, so like at 522 BC. All right, so and it says what? Verse 2. And he says, Then I turned and I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. So even back then, he saw objects flying in the sky. So it's not no China and Japan and all this madness. All right, even in ancient times, these chariots were in the sky. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. What today they call it a pill-shaped tic-tac or cigar-shaped chariot, but really it's a wide chariot, man. Just from a side angle, they're seeing a two-dimensional object. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits, longer than a football field. Then said he unto me, right, and today they describe it as some of the chariots as being the size of the moon when you look at it. You know, you look at the moon from the earth or in the sky from a plane, how big the moon will look. They said these chariots look just as big in the brightness and stuff. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth, man. See that? And the Lord sends these chariots forth to either destroy or to deliver. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off on that side according to it, and everyone that sweareth falsely, sweareth, shall be cut off on that side according to it. So whoever in this age that's set up for judgment is going to be judged according to the Lord's will, put it like that, according to their wickedness. All right. And I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. You know, the house of the thief is America and these heathens, these Edomites, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, man. The damn Edomites. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. So right there, you be thinking about Independence Day or War of the Worlds. They zapped it and just blew it up. So they're gonna be dropping beams on, laser beams on this place, you know, fire. At the same time, the Lord's sword is striking this place, man, that the Lord created, and put in the hands of these nations to strike this place. It says, his bow of steel shall strike them through, and his sword shall be bathed in heaven. It shall come down upon Idumea, and America's Idumea, all right, the founding fathers that founded this place. This is Wisdom of Solomon 25 and 20. His severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword, man. See, those missiles, that's the Lord's wrath. And the Lord got the weapons of his indignation prepared and sharpened them, made them ready. And the world, they call ICBM missiles, man. And they're in the hands of America's enemies. And the world shall fight with him against the unwise. See that? So these nations going to fight with the Lord against America, all right, and Esau in general. And what's that? The heart of the kings is in the hands of the Lord. He turned it whithersoever he will. And the Lord said, what? He's going to, Ezekiel 38, he's going to raise up the spirit of the Medes, which would be Gog and Magog or Russia, and those eastern countries, to rise up against America. And the Lord has equipped Russia, but the Lord is still against them, all right? It says what? Where was that? Here we go. His severe wrath shall he sharpen for a sword, man, and the world shall fight with him against the unwise. And then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad. All right, and that's really talking about those missiles, and also the beams that's going to come out of the chariots that's going to be shot on this place. And in the presence of the holy angels, they're going to be zapping this place as well. The people here, and destroying all the abominations that Esau built, and the wickedness our people and the nations have imagined in this place. And from the and it says what? Then shall the right aiming thunderbolts go abroad, and from the clouds, as from a well-drawn bow, and they shall fly to the mark. See, they're gonna be well drawn from the bow, which was the missile silos, and then from the chariots as well. They're gonna make sure this place is a lake of fire, man. And hailstones full of wrath shall be cast out of a stone bow, and those hailstones represent the nuclear warheads. And the water of the sea shall rage against them, and the flood shall cruelly drown them. All right, so, and that's just it, man. So this place is gonna be wasted, utterly wasted, and the Lord sending his what they call Foo Fighters, these chariots, these balls of fire, to aid in our deliverance, salvation, and the destruction of this place.